Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. When we are due for a medical checkup, a routine medical checkup, blood works and all, we are advised by our doctors to fast hours before drawing blood to get an accurate reading, hindi po ba? No food, no water for 8 to 12 hours. And we are willing to withhold occasional midnight snack or early morning breakfast just to accommodate the test. We have to. It's for our health. It's also for our health that many people nowadays are trying what they call IF, or intermittent fasting. Not eating for 16 hours, then eating only in that remaining 8-hour window. So halimbawa, if your last meal yesterday was at 8 p.m., your next meal the next day will be at 12 noon. Many claim the therapeutic effects of fasting, even some going 24 hours without food. Sabi nila, it's for our health. You know, we are willing to subject ourselves to these forms of sacrifices if it will benefit us, if it is good for our body. But sadly, when fasting is asked from us to benefit our souls and to remind us to go beyond self-love, like in the season of Lent, we sometimes say, ang hirap naman, hindi ko kaya. And by the way, we are only required twice a year to do fasting, Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. The rest, we are encouraged. You know, there's always a time for celebrating and a time for mourning. Jesus in the Gospel was emphasizing this to the disciples of John. How can the disciples of Jesus mourn when the bridegroom is with them? They are celebrating. They will fast in mourning when the bridegroom is no longer with them. And during this time, it will be appropriate to fast as a sign of penance, purification. There is a place for asceticism and even penitential acts. And that's the reason for our fasting, our abstinence, and other forms of sacrifices in Lent. But there is more than that. Jesus in his life pointed out to his disciples something deeper and more important than fasting, namely, reaching out in compassion to others, bringing joy, comfort, and healing into people's lives. Fasting can be very self-centered, as in the case of the Pharisees, who projected the attitude of, see how holy I am. And even fasting today in the secular sense can also be self-centered, when the love of self, the love of body, or the love of my own soul only is stressed more than the love of God and the love of others. In our first reading, God was emphasizing the kind of fasting He wants. Fasting that leads to setting free of the oppressed, breaking every yoke, sharing the bread to the hungry, sheltering those who are homeless, clothing the naked, and not turning your back on your own people. Fasting, my dear brothers and sisters, teaches us compassion, that we have brothers and sisters who suffer, and that we have to imitate the Lord in His mercy and compassion. It is reaching out in fraternal love that is more important. And without fasting, without that, fasting has no value. So remember, fasting without prayer and charity is just pointless suffering, while fasting with prayer and charity is a loving sacrifice. Amen.